Detroit Auto Show is clearly the biggest, most important auto show in the entire U.S. Every year they have extravagant debuts and over-the-top displays. But this year it's a little bit different. The tone is more serious. Now, some say the whole point of this year's auto show is to convince consumers and journalists that these companies are going to be around 5 or 10 years from now. Now, to help us sort it all out, we have our automotive industry expert, Michelle Krebs. Now, Michelle, tell us, am I right? Is that the point of the show, or what do you think of the mood overall?
Oh, absolutely. I think the mood reflects the whole mood of the country and the economy. We're seeing a lot of the auto executives, at least behind the scenes in meetings, talking about their survival plans. They are going to be around and talking about the products that they will be introducing in the future.
But that's the thing, is they have to have products. So an auto show like this, you have to have new cars. I mean, you're just not going to stop building cars.
Absolutely.
And there's some stuff here.
And people don't stop buying cars, so the beat goes on. I mean, a lot of people are saying, why have an auto show at all? Well, people still buy cars. They're not buying as many of them now, but in the future they will be buying more. So
right.
They need to show people that they've got something to buy when they're ready to buy again.
Now, do you think that they've done a good job of hiding their fear, at least in terms of the show, or does it seem like it's starting to show a little bit and they're nervous?
Well, I think they're clearly putting the best face on that they can. But you can see, if you've been to the show as many years as many of us have been, you can see little cutbacks in terms of the drama of the displays and the more serious press conferences than we've seen in the past. No crashing through windows like with the Jeep and that kind of thing. So.
Sort of missed that kind of stuff. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that things are really as bad as like the mainstream media would have us believe, or are they hyping it up just to get ratings and, you know, it's not really all that bad? What do you think?
Oh, I think it's every bit as bad as it's portrayed. And I think that actually what we saw from kind of an interesting thing has happened. You saw the big three go to Congress and really paint a very ugly picture, whereas in the past, they always paint a more optimistic picture. They want to show that they really and truly need the money.
Right. Now, speaking of the big three, just tell me, in your honest opinion, let's just say 10 years from now, are they going to be around in the form that we see them now, or do you think it'll be
I don't think in
different?
A year from now they'll be in the form that we see now. You know, they got a lot of work to do. General Motors and Chrysler both got bailout money with a lot of strings attached. They've got some very important deadlines to meet. They've got to have concessions from unions by February 17th. They've got to have a viable business plan by the 31st of March. They've got to do some major changes.
Don't you think part of the problem is that they're not telling consumers effectively enough that their cars are good? With regard to Ford and GM specifically, they have some pretty terrific cars, but I don't know that the average person knows that.
Well, clearly, we saw that in the congressional hearings. Congressmen don't know that these are not the big three of 20 years ago. They are building some fabulous product, and we heard a lot today at the first press day about the very high fuel economy vehicles that are coming out from the big three.
So where did they go wrong? Is it just a bad marketing message? Because the cars in some cases are there. They're good products.
I've wondered that, and I put myself in the place of the automaker. How do you get that message across that, you know, the perception is not the reality? It's a tough job, and they just have to keep putting out good products and getting the good ratings, you know, from outside entities. They just have to keep building great cars and keep advertising the strengths of those cars.
Right. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Michelle. Now, clearly the Detroit Auto Show is going to be big. It's always going to be important, but this year it's a little bit different and a little bit more serious. We'll see what happens next year.